Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup, Stage 4 preview. So, we have the details for Stage 4 confirmed. It's been a hell of a day when this video is being recorded, although this probably isn't coming out on the same day as recorded considering it's 10:30 at night, but this is being recorded on the day where roll queue was announced. So, 18th, in other words. And we also now know what's going on in Stage 4. So, Stage 4 will be locked to 2-2-2, as we had suspected for a while. 2 damage heroes, 2 tanks, and 2 supports. If you want to know more about the 2-2 roll queue and roll lock and all that, there is another video on the channel where I got pretty emotional about it. It's all on the PTR, we all know about that. We will talk about that in more depth in a minute. Okay. Match of the week. The matches of the weeks through from week 1 to week 5 are the Dragons versus the Seoul Dynasty, the Atlanta Reign versus the Houston Outlaws, the Philadelphia Fusion versus the Vancouver Titans, the London Spitfire versus the Atlanta Reign, and the Los Angeles Gladiators versus the Los Angeles Valiant. Yeah, there should be some good ones in there, but I believe all of the game of the week so far have been 4-0, so... You know there's been a lot of 1v1s in the league this year. Well, that's becoming a more common thing. There is going to be a 1v1 every week. It's going to be part of the Watchpoint pre-show, and they will update Twitter to tell us what 1v1s are going on. That should be really interesting. We also have a new map pool, as is customary with a new stage. And it's going to be an interesting one, because we've got some maps that can provide some interesting results, shall we say. Right. Control will be Ilios, Busan, and Lijiang Tower. I'm glad to see Lijiang Tower back. I really love watching that map. Assault will be Hanamura, Volskaya Industries, and Temple of Anubis. Temple of Anubis, favourable to bunker, so we can probably see a lot of bunker there. In terms of the other maps, Hanamura, we might see a little bunker bastion sort of thing going on first point. Hybrid, Hollywood, Blizzard World, and the return of King's Row. I think we all love to see King's Row in the map pool. And then lastly, Escort will be Havana, Junkertown, and Route 66. And we all know how temperamental Junkertown can be. Thank goodness there is no Paris. Sorry, I will never like that map until it gets reworked. But I understand that the devs might have a lot on their plate right now. Tiebreaker will be one of the 2 control maps not already played. So, that's a nice map pool. We got Blizzard World, which can provide some anomalies. Junkertown can certainly provide anomalies. Volskaya can be a bit weird. Anubis can be a bit weird. Ilios, that's good for the Shanghai Dragons. They're fairly dominant on Ilios. No Oasis, so that's good from a London Spitfire perspective. So, pretty good. Should be an interesting map pool. There's potential for some interesting comps on those maps as well, so I'm really happy about that. Right, let's go full circle, I should say, and come back to 2-2. So, 2-2 is interesting. This means we will see no goats in Stage 4 whatsoever. I'm sure no one is that upset about that. We also will not see Hammond all that much, I wouldn't have thought, because he's not going to be played in the tank lineup all that much. That hurts the Chengdu Hunters somewhat, because Hammond was generally played, or Wrecking Ball I should say, was generally played as a solo tank. Well, you can't have a solo tank now, it's going to be impossible. So, I would expect that the tank lineups should be either Orisa and Roadhog, Reinhardt and Zarya, or D.Va and Winston. I would have thought it would be more dominant that we will see Orisa Roadhog and a bit of Winston D.Va. I don't think we will see that much Reinhardt Zarya, because if you go back to a time before GOATs, we didn't see much Ryan Zarya apart from perhaps on King's Row, which is in the map pool. So that's possibly the only time we'll see Ryan Zarya. Orisa Roadhog is really dominant on the ladder right now. And Winston D.Va has obviously dive its old favourite, so I would expect London, especially, teams like that, to roll with the Winston D.Va. We will see how the meta develops. We don't really know what we're going to go into here. One thing is for certain, though, the all of the league teams were consulted on the 222 lock, and they all agreed in a vote to do it. They have had a good month or so to prepare for this, so they know what they're doing, and they should have comps and stuff up their sleeves. They should have been scrimming this and all sorts, so they shouldn't be coming into this cold, I suppose is the word. It's not just a sudden change. They've known about this for a long time, and they should be prepared for it. And for some teams it's going to benefit them, some teams it's not. Right, talking of that, let's get on to that, shall we? Right, we have 20 teams in this league, obviously, and we have to talk about who is going to benefit and who is not going to benefit from this. Now, we saw a lot of this last season, Dive, we saw a bit of Halt Hook, but the playoffs were mainly, I think, triple DPS, double tank, solo mercy healing, I think, and that's good in some respects, but we won't see that either. So, which teams will benefit from 222? Well, you would have to say New York Excelsior will benefit, although New York Excelsior was starting to nail down the Sombra-GOATs, and now it's changed. I think Excelsior will adapt to pretty much anything, and they're not really in a too precarious of a position. Vancouver Titans, however, this could provide us with some anomalies in results for Vancouver, because we only really know Vancouver as in the Overwatch League anyway, as a GOATs or Sombra-GOATs team. So, Vancouver is a weird one. They've got very capable DPS, but it's a question on how fast they switch. I think they'll switch pretty fast. If we get to see Haxel's Genji, then we're in for a treat, that's for sure. They've got very capable players, though, and we mustn't forget they've got people like Hureg. Stitch is fantastic, and especially since he's been playing the Sombra, we might see quite a bit of Sombra, even though Goats is gone. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Stitch and Haxel still be the DPS lineup for the Vancouver Titans. Shock, I think Shock can adapt to pretty much anything. You forget that, well, in the playoffs they did demonstrate this, but you forget that in their back pockets they do have players like Architect and Striker, that if you want a Widow, or you want a Tracer, Striker and Architect are fantastic at those heroes. And so we might see them come back for the San Francisco Shock. Hangzhou Spark, and that's a bit of an unknown entity right there. Again, they should have pretty capable DPS players. The question is how they adapt to the new meta. Los Angeles Gladiators, they have capable DPS. We already know that. Shore4 is fantastic. And others on the team. Seoul Dynasty, we know from the inaugural season, Fleta is fantastic. They have other DPS players as well, including Munchkin. So, I think Seoul Dynasty should be alright going to a 222. I think actually it will benefit them more than anything else. 7th, obviously, we've got London Spitfire. I think they're going to be big winners. London were never comfortable on Goats. And I think this will benefit London, I think, more than a lot of teams. And to see Gesture, he can go to Orisa or Winston more than the Reinhardt. Reinhardt he's never all that comfortable on, although he did improve. Prophet and Birdwing will be the DPS lineup for London, I am almost certain of. And they will probably be on the likes of Widow and Sombra and Tracer and McCree, and we know they can pop up on those sorts of things. So, again, as I said in their win conditions video, the stars are aligning for the current champions. Shanghai Dragons, they should have no problems whatsoever. Their DPS are fantastic. That's all I need to say on that one. Philadelphia Fusion are an interesting one. They've got decent DPS. They've also just signed Kib from the Guangzhou Charge in exchange for Fraggy. So, that's an interesting one. I'd like to see Kib play for the Philadelphia Fusion. They're the first team in the Overwatch League with 2 British players on the roster. I'm pretty happy about that one. Fusion should be alright. They've got very good DPS. Dallas Fuel, they've got decent DPS as long as they don't put AKM on the Genji. Although they shouldn't be putting the AKM on the Genji. I think they will be alright. Atlanta Rain, this is a time for Baby Bay to really pop off. He's never been that convincing on this area, but I think once he goes back to DPS, he'll be okay. Chengdu Hunters, we know about their DPS, they're very good. Guangzhou Charge, much the same story. We saw their DPS at the end of Stage 3, and they look very good, especially Happy's Widowmaker. I think they should be a team to watch out for in Stage 4. I think they might have quite a good time of it. Valiant, yes, they are very capable in a 2-2 meta. They adapted eventually to GOATs with, obviously, roster changes. I think they should be alright. It's unfortunate they were gathering momentum in the league, but I think they should be okay to switch to this. Houston Outlaws is a massive benefit. It's a massive benefit for Houston Outlaws to get people like Lynxer back on the actual, like, Widowmaker or McCree. That is where Lynx's forte is. We don't want to see Lynxer on a Zarya or a Brig. We want to see his Widow. He's one of the best Widows in the league, that's for sure. So, I think this really benefits Houston. Really, really benefits Houston more than anyone else down there. Paris, we don't really know. I don't think this benefits them too much, but I don't think a lot of stuff benefits Paris at the moment. Yeah, it's pretty harsh, but I've got to say it the way I say it, you know. Boston Uprising, I think this is a benefit for them. I think Color Hex will be better than on DPS than he was on the Zarya. And I think Boston have capable DPS players anyway. Toronto, they were already showing us 2-2 at the end of Stage 3. And now they have Mangachu and Logix. I think this really does benefit the Toronto Defiant more than it does to people like the Paris Eternal. So I think they could make up some ground in Stage 4, but I think it might be a little bit too late for them to make the play-ins. And Washington and Florida. I think it benefits Washington more. We want to see Corey on the Widow a lot more. Florida, I don't think it really bloody matters, to be quite honest. I can't find good points for the Florida Mayhem. Yeah, we get to see Sire player on Widow, which is good, I guess, but it's not going to get them out of the predicament they're in. So, those two teams at the bottom, you know, it doesn't really matter. We could have stayed in GOATs, we could have gone to flipping Dive, or we could have gone to Mercy meta, or we could have gone to flipping... We could be in Oink and Yoink, Halt Hook, so... I don't think it really matters for those teams, because I think they're too little too late. But, there's your roundup for the 2-2. I think this will change the outlook for some teams. Obviously, the way it works with 2-2, and there's a bit more than just locking people, it's going to be better to view it as well, because you can change roles. If you're a player on a team, you can change roles between match. So, you know, if for some reason Gesture might want to switch from being a tank to a Widowmaker, then you could do it between maps, but you can't do it, say, between points. Like, if you were doing control, then you couldn't switch it between one control point and another. But also, the stage seating plan will be in line with the 2-2. So, you know, the way they sit now, it's kind of all over the place. It's wherever they, like, a person's designated seat is, they will sit. That's going to change. So from left to right, when you're viewing the stage, so the viewer viewing the stage, the players will sit in order of damage, tank, support. So you're going to get two damage players on the left 2 seats, the middle 2 seats will be your tank players, and the right 2 seats will be the support players. Hopefully that does line up with the UI as well when the broadcast is on, and that should be really good, because I've always kind of been bugged by the fact that for some reason it's all over the place. You've got one tank in this slot and another tank completely on the other side of the 6. It's all been a bit weird to me in the past, but I don't know, it's kind of a quality thing rather than something we actually needed. As it says, the teams were informed of the change in early June, so they should have been able to prepare for it. And if anyone isn't prepared, then I will bring this up when I'm talking about it. Okay, the season playoffs will start on the 30th of August, and will reflect a new game patch that will include hero balance changes. We will have more details about this soon, says the website. So, I don't know. I presume it does. It says to include hero balance changes. I don't think we're going to see the balance changes to the heroes that is going on the PTR now. We are just going to see the role lock. And so, basically, there's going to be no Brig, because she just won't be played. She's been reworked on the PTR, but according to this, from what I can see, that rework won't be there. So it won't be there till the playoffs. So we're not going to see any balance changes. We're not going to see Reinhardt with his new passive that makes him slightly resistant to boops and stuff. We're not going to see a new Brig. There's quite heavy changes to Symmetra as well. So I would expect that falls more into the Orisa Roadhog category of things. We might see more of that than we will Dive. But this has been your Stage 4 preview. I have been waiting for the actual announcement for role lock and everything else before I did this because I didn't want to go in ill-informed. So, yes, it's massive. Changes everything. It changes everything. And, you know, with London's easier schedule going into this stage, it really does play into the likes of Spitfire, Philadelphia's hands, you know. I think they can really make waves in Stage 4. And NYXL, it's looking so doable to take top spot away from Vancouver right now. So doable. Vancouver have really got to show us that they can adapt in Stage 4 if they want to keep hold of that #1 seed. But I will leave it here. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you now.